on a painstakingly beautiful, early summer morning in September 2001. A day in seemingly infinite beauty, characterized by the rare exquisite flying conditions airline pilots refer to as severe clear. Life in New York and much of the contemporary world, which changed forever in less than 2 hours. This is the story of my father, Steve Buffone's experience on September 11th, similar to millions in New York City on that horrific day.
Miles and miles of sunshine. Miles Davis. We're going to put Miles out there today. Nice as it can be across the Northeast. Rough seas still from the chop from that hurricane. But other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet.
So I remember specifically that that was a beautiful day. I think lots of people remember that day as being a strikingly, crisp, beautiful, kind of early fall day. And I don't, as Alexander knows, I don't really go to work very early. But I was on a train probably, I want to say, in about the 8:30 range, leaving from Greenwich to Grand Central. And on the train, we were close to New York when the first plane hit the first tower. And I'll never forget many, many things about that day, but one thing I'll never forget is what happened on the train, because as we were pulling in and crossing whatever river it is, I guess it's actually a feeder into the East River, where the train tracks cross to go into Manhattan from, I guess, the Bronx. Just at that moment, there was a black man on the train, and his phone rang, and we had seen out the window, some people had seen smoke coming from downtown, and you could kind of see that it looked like it was from one of the World Trade Center towers. In any event, this fellow was on his phone, and he stood up and yelled to everybody in the train car that a plane had just hit the World Trade Center. And the train then stopped for a few minutes. I'm not sure if it was a result of the fact that they knew that something was happening downtown, or if it was just a normal day, or a normal delay, excuse me. But the train stopped a little bit north of 125th Street, probably 20 blocks north of that, for maybe 5 minutes, and other people started receiving phone calls on their cell phones from relatives who had the TV on and saw that a plane had hit the first tower. So that's what happened, before I made it into New York. When I arrived at Grand Central, again, at least my recollection is, it was at that point that I'd heard that the second tower had been hit. So then I and everybody else started thinking, wow, this sounds like terrorism. But my office is the MetLife old Pan Am building is directly upstairs from Grand Central. So I walked out of Grand Central and probably walked a block or two away west of Grand Central, and it just so happened that I ran into two different people that I knew from Greenwich. A guy who worked at a nearby office building that's a little bit west of Grand Central, and then a woman, actually Mrs. Dillinger, whose sons attended the high school. She had seen the same fellow, whose name was Mr. Pastor, and Mr. Pastor suggested we go back up to his office building, which hadn't been evacuated, and we could wait there and be in his building while we saw what happened and when the trains would start running again. And we went up to his office, and he was some sort of financial instrument trader, maybe a bond trader. So his office was on a high floor of a building, I think probably in the 40s of a building to the west of Grand Central, but with unobstructed downtown views of the Twin Towers. And it was, the entire floor of the office was an open trading floor, and there were only a few other people in the office. And in the office they had, as trading floors sometimes do, they had lots of, fairly big televisions in various places. There must have been at least 20 TVs on, and they were all tuned into CNN. I forget the exact time, but we probably had been in his office for 10 minutes, and we were all, again, facing south, looking downtown, and we saw the first tower collapse. So I think probably all of us, screamed, "Oh my God, the tower's collapsing." And the reason why that alone would be a surreal enough experience, but again, with the televisions on, with the delay, we saw it happening and saw the building go down, and then a few seconds later, all of these TVs on a loud volume were showing the same thing, with the newscasters saying, "Oh my God, the tower has collapsed." And so it was just a crazy, horrible, surreal experience to see it with your own eyes and have your own reaction people around you, and then to see it on televisions a few seconds later. We were saying that, oh my God, those buildings are so tall, there must be 20, 30,000 people, say 20,000 people in the tower. So that just means maybe 20,000 people just died, and how horrible that was. And you can look this up in terms of the number of minutes that elapsed between the two towers collapsing, but I don't think it was that long, because then we immediately had, not immediately, but however long it was in between the first and second tower collapsing, we then had a repeat with the second tower of the exact same process, where we're looking downtown, and it was more difficult to see because there was so much dust still from the first tower.
And there, as you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing.
Toxic material. But we had a repeat of the exact same experience. We were looking downtown and said, "Oh my God, there goes the second tower." And then 7 seconds later, hearing that reported on the televisions and on the TV. And so, again, it just everything became more and more, upsetting and frightening. And, we were thinking in our own mind, obviously it was horrible, the number of people who died and who actually did pass away in the collapse of the towers, but seeing it, and you're thinking that it must have been 10 times the number, probably 30 or 40,000 people were just killed. I remember specifically that one woman who was there that I didn't know, I think worked in John Pastor's office. She was getting married the following Saturday, and her flight from New York to wherever she was getting married, I don't remember where that was, she was supposed to leave on the Thursday. And again, to show you how this whole experience was so new to everyone and no one knew what to expect, and what this meant for the entire country and things like air traffic, because it was all so unprecedented. All of us were saying to her, "Oh, don't worry." We had heard by that point that everything was shut down, the airports were closed and those sorts of things. But we said, look, there's no way. I'm sure that'll just be today, and the flights will be up and running again tomorrow. But again, that just shows you no one had any experience with anything like this in New York. Certainly, the places in the world they might have had. You realize that if a war is starting, it's going to have a big impact on your life, for a longer period of time. But because we didn't have experience, everyone was reassuring this woman, "Don't worry. I'm sure the planes will start, running in a day or two, and you'll get out of town for your wedding." So we were standing outside a couple blocks away from Grand Central, and as I mentioned, there was this parade of people walking up from downtown covered in the horrible debris and that gross, disgusting gray dust. And we saw that parade of people, some of whom later took trains out of Grand Central. Others of them were just walking, I think, to various parts of Manhattan. That made the whole situation seem even more real, because you saw people that had probably, many of them escaped the Twin Towers. Others had just been downtown and been outside when the buildings collapsed and were covered in the dust. I was obviously very, very saddened and upset about 9/11, and it just really deeply impacted me and depressed me for a long time. And I think it obviously had that impact on a huge number of people. I think that I took a couple of very positive lessons away from 9/11. I think the most important lesson I took away from 9/11 was that life is very short, or can be very short, and you never know what's going to happen. And so really, within a few weeks after 9/11, I decided that I was going to live my life as if there might not be a tomorrow. And so I had always been someone who is very active and I never like to sit around and kind of watch TV rather than go out and do things. But I think that after 9/11, I know that after 9/11, I became much more kind of almost maniacal about don't waste time, and let's all personally, I always want to do things and have new experiences and travel and meet people. And it was the same with what I wanted for all of my kids, including you, to make sure that you have as many experiences and live your life to the fullest, because you just never know what's going to happen in life.
The events of September 11th changed America and the lives of its citizens in both the most profound and mundane ways. Our national sense of security and being insulated from horrific acts of terror were shattered forever. But on a smaller, more personal scale, the daily routines and rituals of everyday New Yorkers and all Americans were changed forever as well.